I wish I liked another flavor. And there's gotta be a reason that you're speaking to me. And there's gotta be a reason that you're looking at me. I wish it wasn't in my nature, but I got needs. I wish I liked another flavor, but when you're cool, you know I can't resist. I knew you was a proper mission, but you still in my blood. I knew there's gotta be a mission, but I got needs. I knew you was a fucking mission. You grab my hand and pull me. I knew you was a fucking mission, and you never say please. I knew you was a fucking mission, but nothing left to free. I knew you was a mission. I knew that you were me. I knew you was a fucking mission, and you changed my identity. I knew you was a fucking mission, and I knew it gonna hurt me. I love it. I'm not a major, but tell me what you need. I'm so eager to please, and I know you like to tease. I get down on my knees. She said, don't look at me. And if you seen what I seen, you would believe. I know it's all my fault. I got no one else to blame, and I can't imagine to find it just a trash heap. And every time I'm with you, I feel worth 99p. I don't believe in love, but I like it when it hurts. I knew you was a proper mission, man. I knew you was a fucking proper mission. I knew you was a fucking mission, but nothing left to free. I knew you was a mission. I
Hello, everybody. It is, whenever I say hello like that, it reminds me of the late great David Lynch. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Dude, does you guys keep sharing girly pop slop with me? And so like I'm like sitting around and I'm like, okay, I could I could talk about EHD, or I don't know. Do they still talk about that? Do they is that a thing that they do, or I'm not really sure. Stealing my title. Well, like I thought it was fine at first. Okay. And then Cosmic with their mind in the gutter pointed out the obvious. Okay. And I just want to say that my good Christian mind did not assume any suspect material with the way that I worded the title previously. But after it was pointed out, I was like, hey, you know what? It's one word more, but what's it really matter at that rate, you know? What's it really matter? Yeah. Anyway, we're gonna be talking about the Gabbie Hanna stuff for Girly Pop Slop, which at this rate is going to become its own feature. I wasn't thinking dirty this time. I look, man, you know, I'm sorry, but it was like a usual suspect type scenario here. Okay, we just gotta. I'm just telling it like it is. Just telling it like it is. No, you're right. You're right. You're right. Two things can be true at the same time. I gotta like preamble this because this is actually about Trisha Paytas. Okay, this is about Trisha Paytas. This isn't about that other stuff, but you know, the stream just started. We'll get there. We'll get there. I never thought I'd see you cover Gabbie Hanna. Well, I didn't know what else to cover. I'm waiting for people to suggest stuff. Suggest stuff, I'll talk about it, you know? It's like, oh, I guess I could cover more of the Lego stuff. I probably will. But then also, I gotta mix it up. You know, I gotta mix it up. It's really funny because I'm like sitting here going, I wonder if Xylee knows who some of these like T people are. I wonder what her read on those people are, you know. Um, but yeah, so this is gonna require a little bit of preamble, but I don't know if I can talk about this. Fuck, there's a thing I want to talk about, but I think I need to resist my urges today. I need to resist my urges. Are any of the is any of are any of my homies watching? Are any of you guys watching? Should I resist my urge, or should I be very vague? Or should I resist the urge so much that I just don't say anything? I feel like I should just not say anything and wait for later, right? I'm sorry, I'm doing the thing that Adam McIntyre did on last stream. Talk about it. Yeah, no shit, all you people would say talk about it. All you people are like, oh my god, tell me the hot tea. To be clear, this is not tea. This is not tea. It was like I had an interaction with a guy. I had an interaction with a guy, and it was quite the interaction, I would say. You know, I hate vague posting. Chatters be like, I require context. uh, I think to be my bruh, Ash, should I talk about it? I feel like now's not the time. I feel like I should wait. And then we talk about it a little bit more later, you know. Putting on my ID context. No, it's just that, and this isn't like something that it would become anything. Is this that one person? Yeah. Yeah, this is that person. It do be that way. The one where I was, yeah, you're right, Kat. I had a very weird, interesting conversation. And I've been ruminating on it all day. And yeah, I feel like literacy is not indicative of intelligence. Is that the way that I would put that? You know, do they watch streams? No, that's all I'll say for now. You know, you can read, but do you read deeply? Do you understand context and different modalities of thought, you know? What do you understand the different dialectics of the world, you know? Can you do that? Diesel, a man who uses the word dialectics? uh you can't cuck me like this. I'm sorry, man. I've had really nothing else happen lately, is the thing, you know. You can read, but do you understand the words you're reading? Yeah, 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 yeah. That's another thing. You know, that's like a experience I had recently. But beyond that, you know, it's been a like a quiet last 48 hours. I couldn't stream yesterday. Fucking rained. Okay. You guys know how it is. If it rains, I can't fucking stream. Okay. And then what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to go outside and literally be the old man yelling at clouds. To be clear, my internet service provider should at least have the wires seasoned enough to not dissolve amongst the drizzle, but apparently we live in that universe, okay? Fucking Jesus. Stupid. Stupid. 5 minutes in stream and we're talking about dialectics, smart boy territory. That's like college undergrad, okay? I don't think we're not breaking the intellect barrier here, all right? But I gotta turn on my goddamn AC. I turned it off for stream and that was a big mistake. Cause now it's mad hot. Sucks. No, this is Gabbie Hanna. Gabbie Hanna is spelled with a. It's not spelled with an H, you know. But this isn't about all of those other things that you guys mentioned in the pre-stream chat. This is about Gabbie Hanna and her relation and beef with Trisha Paytas. Okay. So for those of you that are unfamiliar, Gabbie Hanna and Trisha Paytas have been beefing for the better part of about 5 years, give or take. Since about 2019. So 6 years now? Yeah. So no, that would be 7. That's 7 years. 2019 was 7 years ago. Bet you feel old now, huh? But yeah, so they were beefing, and the reason that this beef started is that, and both sides have different, like, varying takes on what happened. But the general consensus that society has come to is that Gabbie Hanna was gossiping to someone that Trisha Paytas knows, and they were talking about the possibility of this person fucking Trisha Paytas way back in the day. And Gabbie Hanna was like, be careful. Don't fuck Trisha Paytas. She has herpes. She has diseases. You don't want to fuck Trisha Paytas. And so Gabbie Hanna in 2019 started this rumor that Trisha Paytas has like From Software scarlet rot in her coochie. And as a result of that, the two started beefing, right? So this goes back and forth, right? Trisha Paytas does one of her famous I'm on the floor of the kitchen crying videos where she is like, I don't trust Gabbie Hanna, right? The video is called Why I Don't Trust Gabbie Hanna, right? And then Gabbie Hanna responded to Trisha Paytas in Instagram stories, okay? So that happened. And then, as is the way of things, Trisha Paytas was going to escalate this to court. Okay, and was going to sue Gabbie Hanna for gossiping that she has scarlet rot coochie. Okay, so it was. So Gabbie Hanna had tweeted about the scarlet rot coochie, and it was all over Twitter. And Trisha Paytas was like, I'm going to get a lawyer. I'm going to sue you. I'm going to sue you for saying I have herpes in my pussy. uh, and then this goes all the way to Gabbie Hanna kowtowing at the end of this and saying, deleting everything and moving on. Okay, I'm done. So that's how the beef between the two ladies began, right? Back in the day. They've beefed periodically since that time. All right. And it's very important that you understand that they beefed periodically through this time because it just did continue that long. Okay.
Gabbie Hanna has strong pick-me energy.
She does. Absolutely. She is so mentally unwell, and she kind of like exists in that same universe as FouseyTube, where I like sometimes I'm like, wow, I hope you get like mental health help. And then I also go, yeah, but like, I don't know, man, maybe you should have done something a little earlier. I don't think I can care that much anymore, you know? I don't know why I turned off my YouTube alerts. That was weird. I turned it on again. So that was how it started. So, to follow up on that, so do you guys remember when Cody Ko was exposed for fucking a minor Tana Mongeau and it was discussed on a podcast? You remember that? You guys remember that? Yeah. I'm sure you fucking commentary freaks remember an age of consent discourse. But so Gabbie Hanna was privy to that story prior to it coming out. Okay? She knew about it. And Gabbie Hanna was trying to sell that story to tabloids. Okay? And when that happened, Trisha Paytas weighed in on it. And Trisha Paytas weighed in on it and was like basically saying all these mean things about Gabbie Hanna and saying how she's like a bitch and disgusting and a piece of shit, blah, 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 right? And so the press ran with that, right? And Gabbie Hanna ended up not becoming a main character in that plot, but she did know about the incident, okay? So this is one small sliver of Gabbie, because in the same time that this was all going on over the last like 4 or 5 years, for those of you that don't keep up with Gabbie Hanna, she's had like this deteriorating mental health status, right? Where she's like kind of like a manic pixie woman and has like mental health episodes, and also is like what's the word? I guess gossipy with fans, telling them details about tubers with the intent that information spreads, or just boldface making it up. That's some of the other stuff that you guys were talking about in there. There's like a whole big 25-minute video, but that was 3 weeks ago, right? So there is like this time period in history where Gabbie Hanna vanishes from the public eye. People were under the impression that Gabbie Hanna got a regular job. Do you guys remember that, when Gabbie Hanna got a normal job and then everybody made fun of her for getting a normal job? So there was also that. And so that obviously probably didn't help things. But by now the internet had decided that Gabbie Hanna was on the permanent shit list to be chased down for all eternity, which is why they went after her. She was doing like some yoga instructor shit as like work for a period of time. So that one, Heather, yes. So yes, we're getting to that. We're getting to that, dear chatter. We're getting to that. Okay. So over that time, right? Gabbie Hanna was very sparse, but of course the system does what it does, and they produced videos about Gabbie Hanna's history. And so people looked at her history and basically litigated her as like being a piece of shit, right? And so that was that. The T channels, they took their piece. Everybody had a little piece of the cow and moved on with their day, right? So that was what happened. So Gabbie Hanna basically blows up her career, blah, blah, blah. The fucking stalker thing happened, all that, right? All that. Gabbie Hanna has returned, and this is semi-related to the fan that was talking about her time in the fandom, but this is actually more about the Trisha Paytas stuff, which seems to be the, like, thing that Gabbie Hanna can't let go, which is her really, ultimately, I must say, very, very teenagery and pointless and a waste of air upon the earth of which we walk kind of beef, okay? Because I described the origin of the beef of Gabbie Hanna just not liking Trisha Paytas' vibe and saying that she has Scarlet Rock hoochie. And that is quite literally the origin of her beef with Trisha Paytas. Is one, it's self-inflicted. She threw the first stone. But then two, it is a waste of fucking time.
Mana Potion Coffee is bringing the tea.
Dude, somebody's gotta, man. It's been so long. I miss Xylee so much. Like, yeah, I think the Trisha thing ruined her professional reputation because Trisha is buddy-buddy with a lot of influencers tangential to Gabbie. Yes. Look, Trisha Paytas is a hard one to go after if we're talking about the LA Lululemon podcast scene. That's what I'll call it, the Lululemon podcast scene. But anyway, Gabbie Hanna has returned with an hour-long podcast in the vein of a Ned Fulmer Try Guys type scenario where Gabbie Hanna discusses Trisha Paytas on the first episode of the podcast. So we're going to start with that, and this is from 4 months ago, but this is very important to understand current Gabbie Hanna stuff, right? Because there are some other people who have talked about Gabbie Hanna, and this is what this is the thing that sets the stage for the fan making the video that talks about how Gabbie Hanna is like a piece of shit, right? So the only way you truly are understanding these layers is by starting at this one, okay? So we're starting at this thing. Debuting a podcast with your huge controversy is a Ned Fulmer ass strategy, yeah. Didn't Gabbie go into a religious phase prior to this? So this disastrous reheating of nachos was where she was, I think, announcing her letting Christ into her life. So after she was ruined by the internet, by her own doing, by the way, she found God, which is, I gotta say, it's a little trite. I feel like we've done that before. Maybe she could have found Islam. Maybe she could have found the love of Allah, or maybe she could have, we could run it back and she could have become Buddhist, or maybe Zoroastrianism,
Gabbie is still religious.
But this is where that starts. I'm just saying that you should probably, mix it up, for the sake of our viewing pleasure is really what it is.
Right into it. I just need to.
Did you hear about the former head of national intelligence was taking direction from a cult? Yes, I did hear about that. It is actually crazy that Tulsi Gabbard has been an actor for a cult for so long. It is crazy.
Get this off my chest. I don't know how to start because everything in my body is like, I don't want to talk about this. I genuinely don't. I feel like every time it comes,
I feel like every I feel like the LA Lululemon podcast scene is just a bunch of people that have podcasts talking about how frustrated they are with other podcasts that have other people who just do podcasts. This is like how comedians seem to just constantly run the circuit of podcasts instead of, being fucking funny. Nobody's funny anymore. Nobody's doing anything. It's just a bunch of people sitting in a podcast that they made in their fucking nice, expensive apartment.
Up like in other episodes that we've done with like Taylor and Anna, every time it comes up, I just find every way to talk about anything else.
Yeah.
But I have to talk about it like in every way.
Yeah. Well, and this very well could be episode 1 of the podcast series, right? So
yeah, probably. And I guess that kind of helps me segue into the point is I feel like I can't do anything unless I address this massive elephant in every single room I walk into.
Yeah, this is like our 5th podcast, by the way, dude.
Where I'm a human being, just like an adult, right? Like trying to live life, trying to function in society, volunteer, serve churches and communities.
I know that I'm technically also Zoroastrianism. All right, listen, don't try and spell check me, man. We all know what I meant.
This is oppressively boring.
This is oppressively, yeah, but I'm oppressively funny. Dude, I've the concept of like I fucked my shit up and so that I immediately went to go volunteer at a church is the funniest shit ever. Like it is so like bold faced, there's not a hint of like self-reflection in it whatsoever by saying it like that. Here's the thing. If I like I'm human. I'm only human after all. We all are, right? Assumedly. I don't know about you, but it's just
You're not boring, King. They are.
that's yeah. We're only human. And I was like I've done things that I regret in my life. I'm sure you do too. We all have our worst moments that we would probably say this was a bad one, all that stuff.
She should join the quarterings team.
She's not ready for that arc yet. She's going to do that later. But like I was thinking about like what do you do? And in all of those times where I've had something kind of not go my way, sometimes I'll talk about it, right? But then you kind of just get up and you live life again. I think almost like overcorrecting and trying to reassert to yourself that you're like a good person is very like I don't want to actually face the music of me being a bad person. It's very easy to be a bad person, but having to reconcile with that by just moving on is how you figure it out, right? Like I feel like those big acts like volunteering is great, but what about those small acts of kindness type thing? You know what I mean? Like there's a difference there. And I feel like if you overdo it, it's more like you're avoiding the mental, emotional labor of addressing that you're kind of a bad person, So maybe just getting up and moving on with your life and living life is how you really reconcile with that. Not by seeing Christ, but by just, not being just living and not spreading goss again,
And
I feel like needing to think you're a good person is part of the problem in and of itself. Yeah. Yeah. I would almost say that it's like dare I say something a little postmodern here, but really, it's just a matter of perspective, brother. It's just a matter of perspective.
I'm literally being rejected.
What does Gabbie Hanna think of Hassan Piker? I don't want to know.
rejected, and you being married to me, like being rejected from service opportunities and volunteer opportunities, and just like being literally just triggered every day by comment sections, by
being triggered every day. Okay, girl, turn it on. I don't prescribe to the opinion of the Tyler the Creator tweet anymore because we live in a cyberpunk dystopia and I'm tired of people saying otherwise. But I feel like if you are, like, you can put yourself through mental anguish, right? Like, you can acknowledge that negative comments are there. You could say those are there and they hurt me. But you don't need to, like, scroll through them endlessly, right? Like, why would you want to torture yourself with such things? You know? So it's just like, why, like, I don't understand all these very wealthy and famous people that just like self-flagellate themselves by looking at people who don't know them and already hate them. It's like, why are you doing that?
You know, I go live, all of the live chat.
Look at that busted ass husband and that busted ass home decor and busted ass lighting. It looks like a Taco Bell.
Just content that I get served, being Gabbie Hanna, about Gabbie Hanna and her mental.
Does Gabbie Hanna watch content about Gabbie Hanna? That's the only way she's getting served that content. You know, I don't know. Like, what do you do? How's your recommended filled with just people that shit talk you? Is it because you watch that?
Issues and her psychosis and all my comments. Like, when I first started posting it a couple weeks ago, all positive, like finding a cool, you know, some of my old fans, some new people who are just finding me, and it's just all positive. I love what you're saying, love what you're.
So like I have a really good community. I'm not even gonna like front. I get inundated with compliments. I can see who watches my stuff or follows me online, and like a lot of you are bad as fuck, and that makes me feel really confident about myself and really happy about myself. And then there's also like people that just like fly on through and they have like something outrageously negative to say, you know, and I can acknowledge that those things are there, and then I can weigh whether or not that thing is worthy of my time or effort, and I just gauge whether or not in my personal head whether or not I'm doing, you know, what I feel is right for me and my standards. You know, but the concept that I would constantly need people to say nice things about me in order to feel good about myself is strange, because ultimately when I wake up every day and I spend time with myself, I'm not spending time with the audience that's there. I'm spending time with myself. So it almost sounds like Gabbie Hanna doesn't have any self-confidence unless random strangers are telling her that she's worthy of it.
Doing, and then I'm posting, I'm getting some viral videos, which literally triggers everyone on the internet. Oh, wait, Gabbie's like going viral again, so now I can go viral by being hateful towards her.
Well, like, yeah, you're somebody who's like a hated person. You got to just not constantly keep relitigating it, okay? Well, I don't understand. I'm sorry, we're only 2 minutes into this, and I have so many qualms with so many things she's saying, because it's almost like at the direct antithesis of like fucking self-actualization. It's like this lady hasn't gone beyond first order thinking. Okay, you guys know that on Twitter.com, aka X the Everything app, there's a meme, and it's one of those graphs that gauges where people are, like they're gauging like morality, right? So at the center of it is like you only are willing to protect your immediate family, and then it goes all the way up to like all living beings and non-living beings and blah blah blah, right? And all that stuff, right? So it's like gauging how empathetic you are, right? That's what this study is for or something. I'm probably flanderizing it, but so does Twitter. Okay, everybody fucking flanderizes the shit out of it. I feel like Gabbie is at the center of that radius. Okay, I feel like she's at the center of the circle. If you know what study I'm talking about, she's at the center of it.
So I'm just scrolling, and then I see pictures or videos and pictures with hundreds of thousands of likes, millions of views, that literally just say nothing except for hateful things. And then if you call them out on it, it's like feigned as, no, it's just genuine concern. Like, I'm actually concerned you're experiencing psychosis. And every time
Is it the would you suck off 1,000,000 apes to save one clavicular? I would. Okay.
time this happens, I say, why do you think I'm experiencing psychosis? My life is fine. Like, that's the most frustrating part, is like, my bills have never not been paid. I have never.
It's not even like
been...
I feel like the psychosis is almost like an internet. I feel like I use the word Flanderization too much too, but like that's also like one of those things where it's like people are just diagnosing her because she's acting like crazy. That's it, right? But they don't actually give a shit. They're just trying to like they're trying to be educated and wokely say, bitch, you crazy. But like real talk, on God, when you do those videos on your fucking Instagram, you just look like a crazy ass bitch. All right. That's it.
Safe until people started showing up to my house. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've never been putting myself or anybody else in danger, just like expressing myself in ways that people don't like. But because of the narrative that's been created, and that's the purpose of this video, is addressing the root of why is this thing. It's just, for some reason, we all know that Gabbie Hanna is psychotic. We all witnessed something which was a result of this, right? And it's like, okay, where did this start? And all I want is peace and love. But I also want
all
truth.
I want is peace and love. The most toxic woman, you know?
They are concerned trolling her.
Yeah, they're concerned trolling her. They're concerned trolling her. Dude, I've been covering tea stuff for 2 days now. I'm basically an expert, okay? But what I'm seeing from a lot of the tea community is that you motherfuckers like to concern troll like crazy. And you know what the worst part is? When I call you out on that, you go, no, I actually care. I'm an empath. Shut up. No, you're not. Stop it. You hate her. Just say it. Why are we trying to gussy this up? Okay? Is it because you want to feel good about yourself? Listen, there are plenty of people I hate, and I hate them justifiably. And if they died tomorrow or right now, I'd be the first one dancing. Same for me. I'm very certain if I died, actually, I know that if I died, there would be a series of people that would immediately take advantage of that situation. Okay?
And the truth is, this all started with Trisha Paytas.
Diesel, I'm an empath and concerned. Did you wash your hands? My hands are so clean.
And
Diesel, that's a very concerning mindset to have. I'm worried about you.
Need to.
Too mad though. Nothing was lost. All right. He was a funny guy, but he wasn't funny enough. All right. Norm Macdonald was funny enough. He was not funny enough. Jar, Scarlet Reaper, Cameron F305. Not me. What are you naming the anti-Avengers of unemployment?
Say it all out.
What if you died and Too Bad rises from the grave? Well, then he's the Antichrist, is what he is.
So that there's an account and a record of my side. Because I've tried to defend myself before, and I spent so many hours, days, weeks, literally going back in phones and hard drives from years and years ago to prove that what I was saying was true and what was being said about me was blatant defamation and slander, and not that many people cared. And the people who did care were completely shouted down and harassed. Like, if you left any type of defense or logic or support of me in any way, those comments, and people can let you know right now, if you're one of those people, comment it. So many people DMing me, or creators saying, I'm so sorry for what you're going through. I wish I could defend you, but I can't right now because XYZ.
I would love to know who's saying that. I gotta be honest. I would love to know.
Drama channels or commentary channels saying, I want to defend you, but it's
But
just
I
not
can't.
trendy.
I'm sorry, but if there are actually conversations like that, and you're a commentary channel, and you don't have the cojones to stand 10 toes down on the leave Gabbie alone train, then you shouldn't be making that content. I don't know what to tell you. All right, it's okay to have a opinion that Don't do it for bucking the trend's sake, right? Don't be a contrarian for contrarian's sake. Actually have like some fucking conviction behind it, right? But if Gabbie Hanna truly is having consistent mental health episodes, yeah, it probably is bad if we constantly keep beating that dead horse. I agree, and we probably should, fucking move on.
Enough. Literally, I've had drama channels tell me that. They'd be like, "Oh yeah, it's just
Diesel
not
was
getting
on the leave Gabbie alone train. I think she's in a good enough spot at the point of this podcast where she doesn't need to be left alone. But if she goes and she's standing on the roof of her house going, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do a flip, I'd go, all right, guys, maybe it's time we lay it off.
used to support you."
Yeah, to support you. Whereas people that are hating on you and, talking about literally mental demonic attack.
Dude, my favorite kind of pairings for a podcast are creator and then their husband or wife sitting on the other set and just going, yeah, honey, you're so correct. You're so correct, honey, how you're going through this. I'm your manager, and I am the one who carries all your bags everywhere you go, and I have zero spine, and we do nothing but agree in private because I am a piece of shit who's constantly attached to you like a little leech.
Are getting all the views.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, to piggyback off what you're saying here.
What if you die and reincarnate as the baby of Trisha Paytas? Then I'm the Antichrist.
Of just kind of finding that starting point where it all started. I mean, me as an outsider, like now we're married. Now we're the closest people to each other. But from an outsider, I knew nothing about this situation.
From an outsider. I'm sorry. You can't be the husband or wife of a creator and then go, I had no idea that my partner was in beef with a stranger. They're only 1 million+ subscribers and have a Wikipedia page. If your partner has a Wikipedia page and you go, I've never looked at your Wikipedia page, you're a liar or the biggest glazer on planet Earth who struck gold, okay? What?
Being Gabbie Hanna seems like an exhausting experience, and that seems only fair.
That's true. That's true. That's true. I don't think I'd want to be Gabbie Hanna.
And so I just figured we could start with like when you first like.
Yeah, he's on camera talking to Gabbie about spreading false rape claims.
Trisha, or first started talking to Trisha. Like, how did that transpire? Because
Right.
Yeah, because it
Okay.
seems like you guys had some history.
We had some history, but the problem was she pretended like we didn't.
Yeah.
So Trisha was just like low-key a fan of me, and I was low-key a fan of hers too. Like, I knew who she was. She knew we were just creators, right? So then, DM after she's tweeting at me, she's saying she wants to be VIP at my show. She's saying she wants to be friends with me. Like, literally was just tweeting at me, tweeting support at me all the time. So we ended up, DMing, exchanging numbers with each other. And just like texting. We had like a texting friendship, but as you've brought up, like you can build real friendships online, right? And
Oh, very much so.
but the thing that's also weird about her text messages to me that makes all of this so much crazier, and I didn't even remember so much of this
Yeah,
stuff.
calling someone low-key a fan is crazy work. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I guess if you're like a fan of a YouTuber, maybe I'm a little bit too much of a nihilist, but I don't think I really am a fan of anybody anymore.
Up until I was actually
What happened to that guy on the last stream that you described as the deep coded? Well, he got his shit immediately like blown the fuck up by the entirety of the internet. There is some other stuff related to like him being like a manager of other tubers, but I might have to do that on like a morning stream because I'm going to be working the rest of the week. So
looking at the text messages, but she was literally texting me being like, our friendship means so much. And I remember receiving those messages and being like, I've never even hung out with this person one-on-one like that. So like, this is a lot. But I also recognized something in her, which is like, okay, she's lonely. She's like having a hard time mentally. She's like, spiritually, and she needs a friend.
You could be one of the biggest online creators as well, and all of those things could be true.
Yeah.
Like it's all, there's a big difference between just having a really active, like outgoing personal social life and then just having a life that you're living online where
wait, you said Joshua was the deep coded. His amount of saying bro and his like weird like I'm just a little guy bro speak is like it's so deep coded. Gabbie is spiritually we gotta stop doing this, guys. We gotta stop wokely JQing on stream, man. That's not okay.
kind of looks like you are, but you're really not.
Yeah. But I was just trying to be like, you know, kind to her. Like, I like
It's her nose. I know that you're thinking that because if it's her nose, but that's not any better. Finger, shame.
her. You know what I mean? It's not like I was like, oh, I'm just being nice to her. Like, no, we were just friends. You know what I mean?
I already covered all of Josh's videos. I want to cover the guy who was talking about Josh. That was like, Josh was his manager, so he's talking about it from that perspective.
We didn't hang out that much. Like, she invited me to her
I don't
birthday
think anybody was thinking that Diesel. Well, a chatter said it. No, I thought it because of her attitude. Oh, well. All right. I disavow.
party. I did go, but it was her birthday party. She's drunk. She's talking to everybody. So we really didn't talk that much at her party. And then I think we might have had one more crossover, maybe two, at like a mutual friend's party. But like her and I have never hung out. Like it was never like that. But this is what happened. And I feel like this is a connection that nobody has really made. Like I was just talking to my best friend who has been there literally through all of it, knew me before, during, after, was following it. And she was like, I never realized that's what it was because
Diesel, you keep putting words in our mouth. I'm the one with the microphone.
everything was so chaotic at once. But there was an
The
actual
racism is coming from inside the house, Diesel.
motive to this.
Gabbie Hanna. Guys, I'm never gonna be allowed to go there on a summer holiday with my European friends if you keep making jokes like this.
So, see, I just feel so bad like talking about this stuff, and like it feels almost wrong for me to talk about it. And I wish that it wasn't made my business, but it was, because now it's like I have to talk about somebody's sexual history, which is
But
not.
why were you talking about Trisha Paytas's sexual history to this person is really the big crux of this, okay? Especially because you were just wrong, right? So like either somebody told you a lie and then you repeated it, or you never went to your friend Trisha Paytas. You could have been like, "Hey, Trisha, like a mutual of ours told me that, you know, these things. I don't know what to do with this, but I just wanted you to know." Shane Dawson told her. Of course it was Shane Dawson, because that motherfucker's a little fucking yapper Andy.
My business, and I would never talk about publicly, but it actually matters in this context. So to give a recap of this, I
guess 5-ish isn't calling you up anytime soon.
had a friend. We'll just use the name. Who cares? Everybody knows who it is. So one day I was with Shane. I had just filmed his
Shane Dawson, yeah. One of the premier shit stirrers.
podcast, and he said something about Trisha's herpes, and I said,
This motherfucker, but there was Shane Dawson. Shane Dawson quite literally just says things. Like he is one of those people who literally just says things. So why would you trust that at face value? Why would you not? You don't even need to say that it was Shane to Trisha. But if you like valued the friendship that you were building with Trisha Paytas, even though it was like you're describing acquaintances, if you like actually wanted more out of that relationship, you would have been like, you would have been asking out of a place of care, not out of a place of nosiness.
what? And he goes, oh, she's totally open about it. She's talked about it online before. And I was just like, I didn't know that. But I did.
So now you're saying that there's evidence of the herpes online and you didn't check. Okay. This is one of those stories like when you're doing gossip, when you're gossiping with the crew, it helps to be telling a story and then also not being so detailed that it makes it sound like there's something missing. Okay.
Remember a video where Trisha
This
was
is just like wanting to stir shit.
talking about the STDs she's had. She was listing them off, and then she said, and there's one incurable
And
one.
then, okay, wait. And then here's the thing, is that Trisha Paytas has made tons of videos where she's just lying. Okay? Again, Shane Dawson is repeating an alleged video that Trisha Paytas put out, when Trisha Paytas has done videos where she's saying that she is quite literally that guy, the fucking guy from High School Musical, or saying that she's like literally sexually identifies as a chicken nugget, or like all of these other things, or like Trisha Paytas literally would do that because it would get views. So why does this not qualify as one of those things? Because it sounds like something that Trisha Paytas would do on one of those kitchen floor videos where she's like doing that bit. Okay, that is one of the things Trisha Paytas has done. Why? Like, this sounds like a series of people lying, and then it's circled back around. I wouldn't even put it past Trisha Paytas to make a video like that in the past, and I wouldn't put it past Shane Dawson to take it at face value, and I wouldn't put it past Gabbie Hanna to not think about any of that stuff because it's Shane Dawson saying it, and to not think about it when Gabbie Hanna talks to her homie who wants to crack Trisha Paytas and then say it as if it's fact because we're already 4 people removed and everybody lied the entire way. Are you kidding me?
No one, not a single soul, not even her husband. Gabbie Hanna out of nowhere. So Trisha just sit down Gabbie who starts a podcast like that?
Yeah, Trisha Paytas faked the ID. She literally said that she had dissociative identity disorder, dude. What?
That I don't want to name online.
Yeah, Trisha is the queen of pretending to be stupid for internet clout. That is so true.
If you have the clip, find it, send it. I had it at one point. I have posted videos with all of the screenshots and evidence against all of this. So it's out there. If this is what I was thinking the other day. If D'Angelo Wallace could find that filmed on a potato clip from a lost episode of my like spin-off podcast, everything's out there. Like if you want to see my actual responses to all of this stuff, it's out there.
It's in the archive somewhere, you know.
Yes, they're out there in the ether.
Yeah. It's on somebody's old hard drive, you know.
It's on somebody's new hard drive.
New hard drive. Yeah.
Wait, where was I? Oh, so
Talking about the story.
anyways,
So this is her husband, and I feel like this is like they met recently, and he hasn't known her for a while. How long have they been dating at the time of this, or how long have they been married, right? Because I feel like this guy is like a guy she met at like the church, right? Does he not seem like one of those like an evangelical like youth pastor, right? Who sits down at the Bible study in like the really ugly like church with no sauce in it, and he talks with a bunch of kids around a circle and they talk about the good book.
If Trisha was open about it, there'd be no reason for Hanna to disclose it.
That's true. That's true. That's true. And I feel like the video would have surfaced if that was like a bit that Trisha Paytas has done, right? But who knows? Something could have always slipped through the cracks too. It's just everybody in this is like somebody who has done lying bits as comedy in the past. So why would it not be possible that this is just like a series of lies that have repeated enough that somebody believed it as truth, and that person who believed it as truth is Gabbie Hanna?
so I'm like, okay,
I will also say I don't even, who talks about their friend's sexual history that often? I don't really. Well, to be fair, most of my friends are not having sex, so there's also that. I talk about my friend's lack of sexual history.
didn't really know this, but now I have this information. Never gonna talk about it, never gonna tweet about it, never gonna expose anything about it. However, this was maybe a few weeks or a couple months before her and Jason started hooking up / dating. So I remember, and by the way, I never watched the vlogs. Like everybody knows that I was always behind on what was going on, like even more than the viewers, because I
was always behind. We were mutual fans of each other. All right. Well, you know,
wasn't watching the vlogs. So they come over and Jason is talking about how he had sex with Trisha.
Same brother, incel for life. Whoa, let's get something abundantly clear. I am sexually active.
And I have this thing in my head of like, oh my gosh, her best friend openly told me she has herpes and said she talks about it online. So this wasn't like a whisper of a YouTuber saying. This was like her best friend was saying, yes, this is true, and she said it publicly and isn't ashamed, right? So then I asked him, hey, like, did you use a condom? And that might sound weird, but like, we're adult friends. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
this is like,
I'm sorry, what? You're asking your friend who's like, you're asking like your fucking what? He's like 35 or something, this fucking guy. You're asking a grown-ass man whether or not he used a condom. If that motherfucker didn't use a condom, it's on him. What are we gonna, we're gonna have that conversation? You have that conversation with somebody that's in their early 20s. We're too old to be having that conversation. It ain't none of your business.
Never gonna talk about it, never gonna tweet about it, never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down.
Thank you. Thank you.
adult friends talking. He said no. And these are my exact words. Listen, I do not know if this is true, obviously, but Shane told me that Trisha has herpes, and I don't know why he'd lie about that so openly. I think she has talked about it
I
online.
don't know
So
why
if
Shane would lie so openly. Okay, well, I don't know what to tell you. We hit goal. Damn. That was crazy. Here, somebody's messaging me. Oh my god. It's so loud. Hold on, I need to answer this message.
plan on hooking up with her, you need to have this conversation with her, ask her about it, which is literally the best possible thing I could have done.
Yeah.
It's like, here's I don't know the truth, but you ask her about it. There was no, don't tell Trisha I told you. Like, there was literally, it was ask her about it. I told him to.
Right.
So then she apparently finds out because he asks her about it. So then
Diesel, what if a bear animal barged into your room on stream right now? Because then that would be really funny, and then I would die. So, you know, I guess that would be great. There we go.
I'm hearing whispers for like, I don't know how long of, oh, hey, did you tell people that Trisha had herpes? Like, people keep texting me and stuff about this. So then we had a mutual friend who I was like close with.
Dude, none of these people can keep a secret.
And I was just like, hey, did she say anything about this to you? And she was like, yes. She said basically, oh, are you friends with Gabbie? She keeps telling people I have herpes.
Diesel dying doing what he loves most, content and bears. Ha ha ha.
Isn't true. Like, I never was.
You don't have any way of defending yourself? Not what you think I'm just strapped right now? You think I'm strapped sitting in this office chair? Are these really neato? These are neatos, but I didn't want to go looking, so now it's just this lady crushing balls, you know, and sticking her fingers in goo.
Telling people that Trisha had herpes.
Right.
I told a friend who had unprotected sex with somebody who I was told and she said has an incurable STD. Like, that is.
Man, if one of my grown man friends who's in his 30s has unprotected sex, I'm just gonna be like, yeah, okay. Like, why I'm not doing like a make sure you wrap it. Make sure you wrap it. If a guy friend in his 30s is cracking it with a shorty and he's not putting on a condom, whatever, dude. That's his prerogative, okay? I just hope him and the chick are cool with it and whatever, man, you know. But I think if I have a guy friend who's like, I don't like wearing condoms, I'm gonna call that motherfucker corny and he's stupid.
What a friend would do. And I'm telling you right now, if you take the side of don't tell your friend that they're sleeping with somebody raw dog who has an incurable STD and has.
Yeah, Jason has 2 kids and is older than all of them by like a lot. Yeah, he's like the old ass guy, right? That used to hang out with David Dobrik. Right? That was his thing, is that he was the old kid, that he was the unk.
Openly admitted it on the internet. you're not a friend. Like, what? How can you enable that behavior of like, it's not my business?
Right.
No, this is your health.
Yeah.
Why, Gabbie Hanna, you're too many people removed to be treating this as if it's like your moral prerogative. You're too many people removed.
Curable STD. This is the right thing to do. Tell your friend. And if you have a friend who disagrees with you, cut them off. That person is not your friend. Cut
This is truly like an America 2 moment, you know.
them off. Anyways, so here's why I went wrong. I was feeling very petty. I was getting very annoyed because I think I confronted her about it. And I was just like, stop. Like, stop telling people that I'm like, she spread the rumor herself that she had herpes. Like, I did not spread that rumor. She spread the rumor.
You quite literally spread the rumor. You definitionally spread the rumor. We could say it, maybe Trisha Paytas did bitch about it to other people that you spread this rumor, but she's bitching to people and spreading the rumor that you spread rumors. That's not the same thing as spreading the specific rumor. Bitching about somebody spreading the rumor is not the same thing.
to get ahead of a rumor.
What if somebody has a fetish for condomless sex? That guy, okay, first of all, it's a guy that's saying that, and that guy is doing that because he's basically just being an annoying asshole. All right.
Wasn't trying to spread.
Right.
Does that make
She
sense?
spread it. Shane spread it. You were just trying to help a friend in one-on-one.
Oh my God. It's Shane gossiping when it's Shane. It's her gossiping when it's her. But it's just Gabbie trying to help a friend when it's Gabbie. If what Shane did is gossiping, then you quite literally would be gossiping by the property of sharing the information. If sharing the information is the thing that is considered gossiping, which is what Shane would be doing, or her, then you are definitionally spreading gossip. That is what that is.
Communication.
Right.
Yeah.
What a guy. What a husband. I'm sorry. If I ever get married, I gotta be able to at least be able to have an adult conversation where we disagree.
Gabbie had to spread the rumor in the first place shows none of the people involved watch each other's content. Cause if Trisha said this in content, they'd all know already.
That's true. That's true.
And told him to confront her directly.
Yeah.
So anyways, I get real petty at this point. I make an Instagram post where I think it was a poll. And I was like, here's a question. If you found out that your friend is sleeping with somebody who by good source you heard might have an incurable STD, would you tell them or you wouldn't? And then she sees it, gets immediately triggered. There was no clue that it was about Trisha at all. Like literally nothing would have led to that. Like it was.
Yeah, also, if you can't have sex without your fetish being catered to, you should get therapy. Fetishes are fine, but you should be able to have meaningful sex outside of it. Well, if you're in a relationship with someone and you guys want to explore your freak shit, that's also a different thing, you know? Obviously you want to satisfy both you and your partner, whatever helps. Monique with 5 more gifted, literally making more members than any other little guy. That's crazy. I know, she made an Instagram poll. She couldn't come up with a fucking opinion on herself.
Such a general, if you found out your friend was sleeping with someone with an incurable STD, but she got really triggered by it, made this video
okay, I don't know if any of you, I was on twitter.com, aka X to everything. I saw a tweet, all right? It was from that lady who had a lot of sex with a bunch of men. That Ayala girl. I think she's one of the people that Elon Musk slept with or something. I don't remember. I might be wrong in that, but she slept with a lot of guys. I think she was the one that had sex with 100 men in a day or something. I think that's the lady we're talking about here. Anyway, she vibe coded an app. So she ran a statistical poll, right? She ran a statistical poll. The fetish political compass lady, yeah, so not Bonnie Blue. She basically ran a survey of a bunch of men and women about their kinks and their fetishes. And then she made this app that showed the distribution of fetishes amongst the sexes, right? She's the one that made the birthday orgy flow chart. But it was this big tree, and it separated all the fetishes by gender. And I just found it very interesting. It was a very interesting tree. It was very interesting. It was crazy to read. It was crazy to see what it was. But as I was like looking at it, and I was like seeing where the women's fantasies lied, I was looking at it and I go, you know, this puts everything in perspective now. This really does. The sample size might not be large enough, and it might have a selection bias, but I think this would look the same if we scaled it out to thousands upon thousands of people. You know? It was really weird. It's a very interesting tree. I think go look at it if you have the time, is what I'm saying.
Immediately, like within the hour, on the bathroom floor, saying, guys, Gabbie Hanna won't leave me alone. She's a stalker. She's crazy. She's delusional. She's imagined this entire friendship.
You think she was crazy before Elon, or was she crazy after? I think I might be confusing her with a different Twitter woman that Elon Musk had sex with, but like, you know, there's a lot of them. But that lady is a very like interesting. She's like a tweeter. Okay, she's like a Twitter famous person. What's another one? The smell scientist lady. Have you guys seen the smell scientist lady who's for some reason, yeah, she also made Degrees of Rape. There's a I think she's Dr. Ali Lucas or something, and her entire like field of study is like smells and how they like affect like human perception. But for some reason everybody got really mad at her on Twitter because she's a woman with a PhD. Or there's the dye workwear guy who's constantly rating like politicians' fits or something. Isn't this that one tree where almost all the female fetishes are cutting, blood, CNC, bondage, choking, etc.? There are other things. That was one branch on the tree, you know? That was one branch. It was interesting to see where everybody was, though, and like what the fantasies were. You know, it was very like, yeah, all of this checks out. So all this checks out.
With me, she started this rumor that I have herpes. She keeps telling everybody I have herpes. She's a mean girl. She's like the meanest girl on the internet. Nobody knows it. It just goes full-fledged.
Oh, and the most important one and the most persistent
Gabbie Hanna needs to stop doing videos like this.
one was Gabbie Hanna is a liar. Gabbie Hanna is lying. Wait, there.
Dude. I know I don't have the best haircut in the world, but her husband has a really fucked up haircut.
There might have been one that says do not trust Gabbie Hanna, but I might be exaggerating that part in my brain because honestly this whole thing has just felt like a scene from Mean Girls, but like real life. But like I'm Katie and they're all like Regina and the Mean Girls and like the rest of the school. But anyways, yeah, it was like from...
You know, man, it must be nice to be so wealthy that you still get to have high school drama, because I feel like ain't nobody got time for this.
Day one, off the top, don't trust her.
You get the youth leader cut.
Liar. You can't believe anything she says, especially if she says I have herpes.
Yeah.
So like I don't respond to it because I was just like, that's gonna die. Like let her get it out. Like what am I gonna respond to, right? Like
Sure, yeah.
So then this idea of like she's crazy, she's a psycho started with the motive of Trisha had to literally immediately destroy my credibility.
Yeah.
She had to convince everybody that I don't even know this girl. Like there's all of this evidence that we actually had a friendship and that she's like, she was like, I've never even heard one of her songs. Mountains of footage of her singing my music. Like that clear day and night, right? So this is crazy making to me because I'm just like, how is anybody believing this? And then the thing that crushed me and like actually destroyed my self-esteem was realizing that all of the evidence could be out there and people would still choose to hate me. And when I realized...
No, I think... Okay, considering how far we are removed from the origin of this beef, is it safe to say that her self-esteem is like a completely self-inflicted like thing that she brought upon herself? It's like it's been so long, girl. It's been so long. Put on your big girl panties and move on. Wait, Gabbie Hanna made music? Yeah, you remember that meme where it's like, and I'm the monster. It's like the genius one, You know, that was her.
Is that people chose Trisha Paytas and believed her over me. It was just like, oh, I literally want to off myself.
So okay, because people didn't take your side in the STD drama, you thought about fucking ending your life. Is this one of those like girly pop, like you're exaggerating, or are you serious? Because to be so fragile is quite the problem, I would say.
Like, that's what people think of me, is people are going to believe Trisha Paytas despite me having all of this evidence that she's literally lying for attention and out of fear. But it just never stopped. It was like video after video after video, and then I would respond, and then video after video, and each one's just getting
So why this girl is like, there were videos after videos coming out about me, and then I would respond. Okay, so like, you know, it's like Phil, like the fire is stoked by the primary actors. If Trisha Paytas puts out a video, and then you put out a video responding, then Trisha Paytas puts out a video responding, and it goes back and forth forever. At some point, somebody has to go, hands up, I'm done. But if you see those videos, and then you see videos from strangers, and every time somebody puts out a video about it, you're like, I need to respond, you're going to lose every time. Because at that rate, the entropy of the internet has taken over. You can't play the game. You know, you can't respond to everybody who's hating on you. It's not going to work. You just got to ignore it. The best way to kill that is to smother it. Smother it with silence. So why are you feeding it? Dude, they're putting potions in that goo, bro.
crazier. It's like, she's showing up to my house. I had to get extra security. I gave them her picture. I'm afraid for my life. She's crazy. I'm afraid. She literally.
Could you imagine her getting herself clipped over the STD herpes allegations? If somebody were to actually drop her for that, that would be outrageous. Okay, there's no universe where you're getting kirked for that.
Really tweeted, I'm afraid she's gonna kill me.
And meanwhile, you didn't even know where she lived at all.
I did
I
not
don't even care about the Trisha Paytas stuff. The Jessie Smile stuff is what makes me not like her. Yeah, that's like just more stuff to it.
not know where she lived. But why did she know where I lived? Because in one of her videos, she's like, I hate that we even live in the same area. I hate that she breathes the same breath as me. And I was like, I don't know where you live.
Yeah.
Why do you know where I live? Like, literally. Like,
Yeah.
and when I realized that,
You know, it's really funny because like just by proxy of like YouTubers posting, I'll sometimes be like, what the fuck, that YouTuber lives in my town. But then it's just like, what are you gonna, I don't know, man, like what are you gonna do?
she was projecting all of this onto me. And she's also a copycat. Like, she copies my music video visuals. She'll literally, like, I'll wear a shirt and then she would pop up wearing that shirt. Like, I had this one wishbone necklace. She like pops up with this wishbone necklace. Like, it was just, she was literally copying me, mimicking it, saying she's a fan.
Yeah.
And then she painted me out to be this like obsessive stalker who imagined a friendship with her. Meanwhile, she's texting me saying our friendship means so much and we've never hung out. You know what I mean? So it's like, when I realized she was projecting all this onto me, when she was tweeting,
Dude, Gabbie Hanna, you know, the philosophical, the psychological heavyweight that she is.
afraid for my life. I'm afraid Gabbie Hanna's going to kill me. My thought was literally, I think Trisha Paytas is thinking
Yeah,
about
Gabbie was her friend and low-key sided with Jesse's rapist. Yeah, that was like an absolute fucking disaster for Gabbie. Oh my God.
killing me. Because everything else at this
Yeah.
point has been such a projection. This mean girl, rumors, gossip. Like, that's what she was doing to me this
I gotta be honest, if you're this wealthy and your job is this easy, what else are you gonna do with your time than do gossip, okay? It's either this or crime, all right? Hopefully the cool kind, not the bad kind.
whole time. Starting a rumor that I started a rumor I didn't start. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
she was mean.
yeah.
She was literally showing up places, which is why I made the story asking, are you friends with Gabbie Hanna?
Man, me and Trisha Paytas lived in the same neighborhood, and she happened to be in the same place as me. Yeah, Trisha Paytas was definitely trolling her, though. After a while, for sure. For sure.
Oh, she started this rumor about me. She's the meanest girl in the entire world.
Yeah.
Oh my God. These bitches ain't got no teeth. These bitches ain't got no teeth. God damn. They wouldn't last a day in inner city high school.
Almost.
Almost.
Almost. But we'll
And-
get to that one.
And it's worth just taking a quick pause to mention too that we completely understand that like everybody involved, anybody that we're going to talk about in this podcast, in these podcasts that we're going to end up doing together, we're all at much different places in our lives. You know what I mean? And we can recognize that. But because of the psychological damage and trauma that happened in your life, this is still
The psychological damage and trauma of the herpes allegations. Okay. All right.
something that follows you to this very day.
Right.
These comments are still present to this very day. So I just want to recenter the focus on
Yeah,
that.
so like you just need to move on. This whole like weird like I'm gonna stew in it is so bad for you, man. Don't do that. Like just don't stew in it. It's not even this isn't even like, you know, really deep shit here, all right? Goddamn.
Why we're talking about this.
Yeah,
this
because
is
it's
an
easy for
ongoing
me.
part.
Yeah, and it's easy for me to get kind of sidetracked and like
Yeah.
get heated. But the problem
and
is,
relive that moment. Yeah.
especially the moments, the years,
Yeah.
and that's part of like not just OCD, but what this is, which was psychological abuse. This is
Psychological abuse.
abuse on so many levels. And in fact, where's my phone? Because I
You
want to.
can't say things like this on the internet and not sound like the biggest cornball. All right? Like people saying mean things online can obviously hurt. I'm not saying it can't. It can make you feel like shit. It could definitely be that. But if you get on the internet and say that, then you sound like the biggest cornball in the universe, and there's no way to get through that.
Read what ChatGPT said about psychological abuse.
What are you fucking what are you fucking saying, bitch? What the fuck? Never mind. I take everything I just said back. You're wrong. You consulted ChatGPT to figure out what psychological abuse was. I bet you call it chat. I bet you have a specific name for it.
It's on the floor right next to you.
Because this is a term that I'm finally like just getting a better relationship with, because it's so like it's a weird
The worst part of AI is how it's like made the average midwit think that they're like a genius. You know? That's probably the worst, aside from all the like clear environmental damage.
it's a weird trait to want to be a victim. And there are people who want to be victims, right? But like to just call this what this is, I am a victim of psychological abuse on a mass scale by many people, but spearheaded first and foremost by Trisha
Guys, the Gestalt consciousness decided to psychologically torture Gabbie Hanna.
Paytas. And then by Ethan Klein, which is the next. I asked ChatGPT, sorry guys, I know a lot of
Dude,
people
we're reaching EHD critical mass, guys.
say it uses a lot of water, and I have to be honest, I'm not smart enough to understand what you're saying.
To be honest,
Wait, what?
And then by Ethan Klein, which is the next.
The Gestalt snark.
I asked ChatGPT, sorry guys, I know a lot of you say it uses a lot of water, and I have to be honest, I'm not smart enough to understand what you're saying.
Are you fucking stupid? This fucking stupid person. What a stupid moron. What, are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Can you not? I was joking earlier when I said you didn't understand second order thinking, but you actually don't. You actually don't. There must really be a lot of people. Are there people in this universe that walk through life not realizing that other people have internal lives as complicated as their own? Is that a possibility? There must be a lot more people like that than I thought. Are there bicameral humans that walk amongst us that have no idea what that voice is inside their head? Do they not know that? It's not that hard to figure out. These servers that ChatGPT runs on, because the internet requires physical locations to store all this information, right? These servers need to be cooled with water because they get very hot. So in order to cool them, the most efficient way to do that is to use water. So what happens is the water goes into the server and it mixes with a chemical that keeps it cold. And then it runs along the GPUs that power it. But I won't even say that. It runs along the server that powers it. And so it keeps it cool. And then they dump it outside after it runs through. And the chemical that mixed with it can't be unbound from the water. So that fresh water is just ruined. That's it. That's why it uses a lot of water. It's not. Oh my god. It's not even that. That's not even hard to understand. I don't understand. Like, this is like somebody going, "How do these vegetables end up in the grocery store?" That was the level of incompetence that statement had. I just, I was watching PewDiePie recently because I saw that he did like the making a manga video, and I had completely missed that he made like this like GUI to run a server or to run his own AI off of his own server that was completely self-hosted. And it is just as good and uses literally no electricity. Like, I was like, it seems like a fun project. I'll follow along and I'll just do it myself. Right? Not making what he made, but like figuring out how to set it up and run it just to be like, why not? I could run it on my Mac. Go ahead. And I did, and it was really easy. And the funniest part is that it doesn't use literal hectares of space and miles upon miles of power.
To be honest,
It's not even like it's rare good AI. It's so the thing is that like everybody is using these online web services and they cost a lot of money, right? Because you got to run all these servers to run all these big things. But like ultimately the function of what these systems do can be run on much smaller setups, and you could just do it yourself. And then nobody owns it except you. And it's open source and it's completely local, so nobody's reading your messages. It's like, why the fuck wouldn't you do that? It makes no sense. So AI data centers raised my bill 300 this month. It'd be crazy if somebody did something about that. It's almost like we should do a devious lick. There's a lot of platinum at those AI data centers. We could have the most devious lick of all time. But yeah, you could like easily download like a service like Olama and then run your own model from your own computer, and it'll answer questions. You could have it search the web. It'll still use a lot less fucking power. It'll use less water. It'll be free, and it'll do everything that a paid version does.
I think that those data centers would be there regardless. I understand that chat is like taking up resources.
I think that these people should be strapped to a rocket and blasted to space.
But I don't know.
I don't like it when somebody calls a chat. I'll say it. I don't like that.
How much I can subscribe to myself. But I will say this though, is that like other people have been, quote unquote victimized in this. I don't understand it. I mean, they've moved on with their lives. They're doing their thing.
They've started
now.
and been given
Whatever.
great opportunities, great careers.
This is something that
This lady is like, this ruined my career and I haven't been able to get money. That's what it all comes down to. She's mad that they're getting bread and the other people aren't.
you're still actively living with every single day,
Yeah.
and seeing these comments and things like that. Like,
And I've
how-
still lost a lot of opportunities, a lot of collaborations. A lot of people won't even follow me or like comment on a post because they don't want to be seen supporting somebody who
You just gotta be doing yourself, man. Why the fuck you gotta be dragging, dude? Fucking, you can't move on. People don't want to fuck with you because you clearly haven't changed at all right? Like, just live your life, move on, be you, be the best version of yourself. Stop ruminating upon the past. These are the exact reasons that people wouldn't want to hang around you, because of exactly what you're doing here. It's like, why am I not getting opportunities? Well, you haven't been able to fucking move on from the most obvious shit. Like, I don't. Yeah, my university created an AI server using air, both as the power and the coolant at the cost of running at lower quality as to not overheat. Works just as good as any other LLM. Yeah, I ultimately think this is probably why the AI bubble is gonna pop, because anybody who's like at least like a schmedium level, like IT enthusiast could probably figure out how to do it themselves, and it's cheaper. So like, why the fuck wouldn't you do that?
Did XYZ.
Yeah. Me, I look at this from the outside and I think to myself, how are you not the victim in this? You know, when churches are even like excluding you from doing
And what's so sickening is the people listening who will just paint me as the monster no matter what, despite the fact that I'm
Oh, she said her song.
actually the victim and tried screaming it at the top of my lungs in like 2020 because I was just like, how does nobody see that what Trisha Paytas is doing to me and what she started and created is literally psychological abuse?
And that's the real problem, by the way, is, you know, that herd mentality.
Yeah.
The herd mentality. Dude, these people really do sound like Josh. You're right. This does sound like Josh. That's crazy. God damn. Let me go to this fans video. Cause I'm just yelling at her right now. I'm just yelling loudly.
One of the biggest moments.
Okay. How long is the podcast episode? It's like fucking 2 hours, man. Like fucking 2 hours. Okay, so this is the person, this is the video about why they left the Gabbie Hanna fandom. So this is the big video that had started the recent wave of discussion. Okay.
Being a fan of Gabbie Hanna's was genuinely fun at first. It felt like being in on something and understanding her in a way that other people just didn't get.
It is really crazy to get this from someone who is clearly a child having to talk about Gabbie Hanna, who is like old as hell.
This energy in the fandom, very protective, very defensive. It felt justified, you know? Like we were standing up for someone we genuinely thought was
This is
missing.
horrible, dude. We need third spaces. I know I say this all the time, but we need third spaces. We gotta get these kids off of the internet. This person was not alive to see Gabbie Hanna start her career. Oh, no.
Understood. But I don't think we talk enough about the other feelings that were there at the time as well. Because low-key, we were really scared of her. And it wasn't this, she's so terrifying thing. It was like, you didn't want to be noticed for the wrong thing. You didn't want to disagree too loudly. I remember seeing how she responded to criticism, even small criticism, and thinking, okay, so this is what happens when you step out of line. And I told myself it wasn't fear. It was just respecting Gabbie. It was her having boundaries, or whatever she wanted us to believe. There was also this unspoken rule that you don't call her out, because if you do, there's a very real chance she might unfollow you. And
That she might unfollow. Oh my gosh, she was following all of her fans. She genuinely was consuming content about herself all the time. That's think about it. Think about it. The way Gabbie Hanna talked about it, and this fan is talking about it. Boom. Interesting. You know who else did this? Yeah, Colleen Ballinger.
us, that was everything. Like, oh no, a creator unfollowed you. But when you're in the midst of it, it doesn't feel small. Being followed by her meant something to us. It meant you were a good fan.
So, like, and then another issue with something like this is like, if your quote unquote third space is like a fan of a YouTuber, requires you to constantly like elate them with praise, you're going to be more inclined to like side with them even if they're wrong. Because if you try to have like your own opinion or thought that goes against the group, you're gonna lose your friends. So it doubly if you're like a teen on the internet. So like you're gonna be inclined to defend them even if it's not like appropriate and you know it's not appropriate.
You were on the right side of history. So people learned really quickly what kept you there and what got you pushed out to the side. You could joke, you could defend, you could laugh along at her, but as soon as you got too critical, that's when things changed and she was no longer on your side. I know for me, there were moments I wanted to say something. Not even anything harsh, but I didn't because I cared more about staying in her orbit than saying what I actually thought. And the thing is, it's not like nobody ever said anything either. People did, just not for long, really. Because once you called her out, it didn't turn into a conversation. It turned into silence. Like, complete silence. No likes, no replies, no notifications.
She would start ghosting her fucking fans if they said something negative about her. Oh, fuck, dude.
Notifications from her, nothing. Sometimes this happened for months. And at the
A game store is a good third space. Who do we know that runs a store such as that? Oh wait, eyes emoji, mind blown emoji.
It's true. That is why it's there. She's an adult right now, but I think she's only like early 20s, maybe even 19. She has like she sounds like a she sounds like a kid that would she sounds like she would sell me newspapers during the Great Depression, if that makes sense. Respectfully. I know I kind of sound like the president, so I get it.
and I know this sounds not important, but to us, when that is the thing we rely on, her just cutting that off, it feels very intentional. One of the biggest moments for me, and the one that I tried not to think about too much because it was just so much, was the Rachel Oates book poetry thing. Because, oh my god, let's get into that. At the time, we thought the dynamic was really clear. Gabbie's poetry book, or so she claimed, was about really deep, personally traumatic things in the mindset of a child. So it came off really stupid and childish, because it was. But that's not the point. The point is Rachel made a parody book of this, and since we viewed it as a very traumatic book, we took this very badly. We were very offended by this. Like, why would you make poetry out of something?
Making parody art of somebody's other art is always okay, regardless of the intense subject matter, I would argue. You know, granted, I don't think a comedy of the Schindler's List would really do well, but yeah, I don't know, man. Anything can happen these days.
These trauma. Like, not your own trauma. Not like you're making a joking book about somebody's trauma. Or so we thought. So people really defended Gabbie for this. But when I went back and reread Adultolescence without that framing in my head, some things really didn't line up. If something is being presented as a deeply trauma-centered work,
I gotta read some of these, hold on.
my head, some things really didn't line up. If
Unexpected. Ladies and gentlemen, come and have a look. Here at last, another YouTuber book. Just what we needed, someone to produce the tangible ego of a 20-something's douche. All right, man. I've been reading some real poetry and woof. I mean, she's keeping up with that iambic pentameter, you know?
something is being presented as
Chase. Sometimes you want the person. Sometimes the person you want will make you chase them. So, chase. Run. Burn lots of calories. While you're at it, do some squats. Throw in some strength training. Sweat. Clean up your diet. Don't forget to stretch. Chase. Pretty soon you'll catch them, and then run away. And then the rest of it I can't read. I've been reading, here's the thing, guys. With ADHD, you kind of do a bunch of books at one time. So I'm like juggling like 4 books, and I switch between which one I read each day. I finished the collective works of Edgar Allan Poe. It was very good. Highly recommend it. That guy is slept on. Don't know if you've heard of him. A friend of mine gave me a bunch of these. I'll bring them over. I do believe he is a former poet laureate, but he's also one of the great American writers that I had never heard of. And he's also in the vein of male writers writing contemporary fiction for men, which is rare. And I should also argue that I got these books from a woman after she had read them many times in her life, and adores the author. So, you know, take that as a sign of based, I guess. But It is Charles Bukowski, who, this isn't poetry, but he is a poet laureate. And I don't know if you guys have ever read any of his stuff. This is the one I'm reading. It's a very old copy of South of No North. But it was titled something else. I wonder if it says the title at the beginning of this. No. But this is a collection of short stories from the guy. How do I describe this? This is, all of his books are about how he's fucking like a miserable person because he can't find like love and he's lonely, like lonely. And it's funny because the stuff he's talking about and the experiences he's having are a lot of what people have now. But this guy is from the silent generation. He was a child during the Great Depression. But also with that, with his loneliness, he's incredibly fucking horny. But it's always like tinged in self-loathing, right? So like, I think this was originally titled something else. Oh, so this used to be Tales of Ordinary Madness used to be called Erections, Ejaculations, Exhibitions, and General Tales of Ordinary Madness. I haven't started reading this one, but a lot of it is like he's a horny guy, but he's also like loathing himself because he's horny and lonely and nobody loves him. And like the first short story in South of No North is how a guy who is literally just a stand-in for the author, is so lonely in his middle age that he's putting out ads to try and get a woman. And it says like what he's looking for and all of this stuff. And a woman in the short story agrees, and they talk, and he's like explaining why he thinks it's hard to fall in love because he has a lot of like, he's just straight up like, he's like, I'm a sexual deviant. And he talks about like, you know, like what if we got bored with each other? Maybe we could try like a wife swap thing, you know? And he's like saying this in the 50s. Man wrote a whole book about coochie. Well, actually, it's more about like how he couldn't get coochie. But I think it's really interesting to read because I know a lot of men struggle with feeling lonely and unloved. And so it's interesting and good to read the experiences of someone who felt that, because I didn't think that there were writers that felt that. How deviant is he? Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Well, first of all, he likes them to be on the fat side. He put that on the ad. So he's explaining how he doesn't like church, and let's see. So I'll read an excerpt. So he's talking with a woman who came to his house. Her name is Edna, right? Oh, so he wants to know if whether or not Edna can match his freak, right? He came out, handed Edna her drink, and sat back down in a chair across from the room from her. The drink was stronger. You know, he said, I do well on the sex quizzes. Edna sipped at her drink and didn't answer. How do you do on the sex quizzes? Asked Joe. He's Joe in this story. So, yeah. Get all your yucks out, guys. I've never taken any, says Edna. Do you think those things are valid? I've seen them in the newspaper. I haven't taken them, but I've seen them, said Edna. Of course they're valid. Maybe I'm no good at sex, said Edna. Maybe that's why I'm alone. She took a long drink from her glass. Each of us is alone, finally, said Joe. What do you mean? I mean, no matter how well it's going sexually or love-wise, both the day arrives when it's over. That's sad, said Edna. Of course, so the day arrives when it's over. Either there's a little split or the whole thing resolves into a truce. Two people living together without feeling anything. I believe that being alone is better. So one of the things is that he's divorced. So he's like explaining that, right? Did you divorce your wife, Joe? No, she divorced me. What went wrong? Sexual orgies. Sexual orgies? You know, a sexual orgy is the loneliest place in the world. I love this line. This is a really great line. Let me not butcher it. You know, a sexual orgy is the loneliest place in the world. Those orgies, I felt a sense of desperation. Those cocks sliding in and out. Excuse me. Edna says, it's all right. Those cocks sliding in and out. Legs locked. Fingers working mouths. Everybody clutching and sweating and determined to do it somehow. Yeah. So yeah. But this is a really good one. There's a few others that I've read. It's a collection of short stories, so it's like really easy to get through. I read like a few of them a night. I read one 2 nights ago about a guy who's a boxer, and he was talking about it.
Sounds like a job for Cope and Reed.
Some of these are pretty fucking bad, I'm not going to lie. But there's one where this boxer's talking about how great he is, because it's the only thing he's good at in his life. And he's basically not being present for his wife, or not for his wife, for his girlfriend, right? So the entire story revolves around him trying to get his girlfriend, who wishes that he was a more well-rounded man. He wants her to be like, tell me I'm great. And she's like, could you be a little bit more interesting? Could you say something else? Could you be funny? Could you do anything? He's like, why do I need to be funny? I'm amazing. So ultimately it ends with him getting dumped by her and then driving to just go drink more. And then that's the entire story. Diesel, do you think your friend was trying to tell you something when she gave these to you? So to be clear, the friend was Brittany. And follow up from that is Brittany gave me a selection of books. I chose to take these because I was interested in the subject matter. So I had an option and I chose to take these. I also have some Chuck Palahniuk, you know, the guy who wrote fucking Fight Club. Some of his other works that were given to me. It was either that, they were going to be donated, so I was like, okay, I'll take them. The subject matter, right? No, I'm serious. I was very interested to read about a famous male writer who wrote about male loneliness. So I just wanted to see what that was about, or what he was thinking, or what he dealt with, you know? So it was a cell phone. Yeah, sure, it was a cell phone. Very interesting writer. Very interesting. I'm really enjoying it. It's all very fucking depressing. The proto-incel. No, I don't think he was an incel. I don't think that's probably the way I would put it. If I'm going out on a limb here, he probably had actually lots of sex. He talks like a guy who's definitely fucked a lot. But I'll switch between this. I am carrying around a copy of Carmilla. I read this before bed, which is definitely like a awful thing to read before bed. And then I'm carrying around a copy of Carmilla, which I'll probably finish this week. And then the last book that is on the rotation right now is Annihilation, because I'm struggling to get through the last half of it. Yeah, lonely fucking. You could be lonely or unenthusiastically having sex with someone. Those are things that exist.
This deeply trauma-centered work.
We got way off topic, but I did want to talk about my books.
You expect that to be reflected throughout it. And
Hold on, I want to read some of these other ones.
something is being presented as a deeply trauma-centered work. You expect that to be...
I'm reading Interview with the Vampire. That's a great one. I love Interview with the Vampire. I know the Vampire Lestat show is going on, and I've had lonely fucking sex. A book about it seems weird. The book is not literally just about that, but it's more about like the concept of being lonely in a crowded room type thing, you know. Recess. Is Jacob and Emily sitting in the tree? Kissing. First came love, then came marriage, then came a stale and empty life. As a result of the societal pressures to which led to a semi-public affair and a severe case of alcoholism mixed with mental illness, followed by 2 grueling 2-year divorce that damaged the kids emotionally and left everyone without a sense of direction or self-worth. It's really hard to make good poetry. It's really hard to make good poetry. Poetry has to be the hardest to write ever. And so when it is bad, it is really bad. Divorced dad ass poem, dude.
Reflected throughout it.
Chivalry. I'm not some no-brained bimbo, and I'm not some helpless girl. I'm fucking remarkable, and I deserve the world. I don't need you to open my door, but the gesture would be nice. I don't need you to buy my meal. The offer would suffice. I don't need to be taken care of, but it'd be cool to know you care. I'm a holographic Charizard. I highly desired and rare. I think one of the great things about Edgar Allan Poe, I mean, when you read anybody that's like a poet, even Shakespeare, I feel like you can view a lot of the poems. I need to read more. I have some feminist poetry I need to read at some point, but I feel like when you read a poem, it almost exists in like, it could be at any time. I feel like the process of reading a poem allows me to feel like it could exist whenever, a lot of the time. So I feel like putting Charizard in it is almost like putting a Funko Pop in your novel, you know? Did you read Sylvia Plath? She is on the list. She is like stop 1. Highly desired and rare. Yo, I even dropped Pokemon references. Because I'm fucking dope as shit. I'm just good with me. I don't need you, not even a tiny bit. I think that's when Anne Rice's vampire novels were fucking outrageously amazing, is when all the weird, insane shit starts happening.
And it just wasn't. Now, I'm not saying there's nothing personal in it. Don't get me wrong. There are some mental health poems that relate to Gabbie in the book. But I am saying the way it was phrased to us was not entirely true.
So, like, all right, I obviously haven't read Adultolescence, but it almost reads as, like, poetic comedy rather than trying to be, like, a child gripping with, like, the realities and harshness of adulthood, because I feel like there's too much self-awareness, because if you're writing from a perspective of a child, you need to be like that's just not how they compute things, you know. They don't compute things the way that Gabbie wrote those poems, right? So like the pitch of what it is sounds different from the reality, you know. So the comedy aspect of it is so strong that it cuts through the original message and doesn't seem to follow through on the theming that the poems are supposed to imply, that the title of the piece is supposed to imply. It's incongruent, I would say. But again, I haven't read the book, but that's just my impressions from those poems.
And because of that, we framed Rachel like she had done something genuinely bad, when in reality, all she did was write a parody book about her dog. Her fucking dog. That's what we were upset over. Most fans didn't come to this conclusion on their own. They were guided by Gabbie. And I think that's the first time I really realized we weren't defending her. We were being mobilized. At the time, even then, I thought it was excessive.
Yeah, it's meta, but not in the way Gabbie wanted. It's immature and surface level because Gabbie thinks it's deep. I am mad that you said that and not me, because that is so profoundly well said. You just like you nuclear bombed Gabbie Hanna with that.
That's why I never really got involved. It was horribly wrong of Gabbie, but for years I felt slighted by Rachel for some reason. Like she had done something. She hasn't. She did nothing wrong. And I just hate the way Gabbie put a bad taste in my mouth when I hadn't even watched her videos and still haven't to this day. I might have really liked them. I don't know if you can tell. I'm a book person. I know, my room's a mess. But I'm a book person. I love books.
At least you pointed it out, man. I was being nice and not pointing it out.
So, like, I would love Rachel's content. And I think that's the part that bothers me now, is how normal it all felt. Like, it felt completely reasonable that we were constantly defending her and protecting her. But when I step back and look at it, the dynamic is kind of backwards. We were her audience. She was the 30-year-old woman. A lot of us were young, impressionable, and trying to figure out what was
I was freshly 18. That Gabbie, no way! What the fuck? I'm noticing some, God, somebody call up George Lucas. It's just like poetry, it rhymes.
right and wrong in real time. Why did it feel like we were responsible for protecting
Gabbie Hanna was going to her teenage audience at 30 to go tell her teenage fans to go say shit on the internet? What? Where have I read that one before?
And within all of that, there's the obvious favoritism. Like, there were just certain people in the fandom who got more likes, more replies, more validation, and personalized FaceTime calls with Gabbie.
That's fucking crazy.
And it wasn't random. It was very clear what the messaging was. The more money you pay to my Patreon, the more access to me personally you get. It is so fucking parasocial beyond belief, I can't even begin to...
Yeah, I find that kind of stuff crazy. Trust me, don't get me wrong. I'd love to be making bread hand over fist like that. But like, I have met fans that are very clearly not all there, and I don't want to take their money to be forced to spend time with them. No amount of money is justifies their mental afflictions impacting me. You know, I don't want to be on the other end of that. Okay, for my own safety. You know, it's just not there. Okay, you guys saw what happened with Judas. All right.
Put it into words. Because when attention is the reward and silence is the punishment, favoritism is what keeps the system run. And there were moments that, at the time, felt exciting. Like her inviting a fan over to her house. And let me be clear, I'm not talking about Nick, the guy from her Manic episode. Why did she do that? Is she okay? I didn't know about this until a couple of months ago. I went my entire fandom life not knowing about this. Do you know how jealous I would have been? That's not normal. I should not be jealous of that. That is, what the hell? Are you kidding? And mind you, this person didn't just go to her house. She worked for her for a period of time, but a lot of people hire their fans. That's not actually as taboo as it sounds. It's the inviting the fan over to your house while they work for you. That type of power dynamic is kind of crazy. Looking back on it, it really blurred the lines. We were fans. She was the creator. And I need to reiterate, so many of us were young. The friend I know now at 18 joined the fandom at 12. So when you already have a space of people trying to stay on her good side, we're afraid of losing her attention and constantly rewarded. Being invited into her personal life like that, it reinforces the idea that closeness is something you get by being the right type of fan. And I think the clearest example of all of this is how divided it became. There were different levels of access to Gabbie Hanna. It wasn't labeled in some dramatic way, like there was no specific, here's the access to me card.
Well,
We all knew it.
I gotta be honest, I couldn't tell that she was 18. I'm like, this is like a 14-year-old doing this video. So, guess I'm monk. Yeah, she has a very youthful voice, I think is the way to say it.
All knew it. There were fans you would FaceTime with, talk to directly, and build relationships with. And then there were people she would miss live streams for. People who were still showing up, just at a lower level. Same fandom, very different experience. I didn't see it at the time. I just thought people were closer. To her.
No, I am getting questions for editing. But I would say that okay, all right, man. I can't do this right now. He's recording his slime videos. I didn't know you were still streaming. Okay. Cat. This is the cat. Cat. In DaVinci Resolve, in your bins, where you store the footage. The clip from OBS is at 1 frame rate. You need to see what the properties of that clip are, and you can't render it unless the frame rate is the same as the clip. They need to match, or there will be screen tearing.
To realize maybe
One of you people needs to send that to her.
they were more of use to her. And I think what shifted for me was how heavy
At
it all started to
PZK
feel.
became a member. At PZK celebrates 4 months of membership. Can you tell Cat I say hi?
Cat Pie says hi. Both cats are talking to each other right now, so it's both cats.
People always told me, you'll regret being in the Gabbie Hanna fandom. I do not regret being in the fandom. I regret what the fandom did while I was in it, because now I am associated with that shit. Like, don't know what to tell you.
Let's go
like,
to
I can't
the
apologize
Trusha
for that.
Paytas.
I'm not them. Moments where it didn't feel passive anymore either. Like when she was misgendering Trisha Paytas. We were expected to step in, defend her, and correct the narrative. When everything was happening with Trisha, I did speak up. And it was not aggressively either. I said it very civilly. Gabbie, you need to not be transphobic. It is that simple. This was at a time when Trisha's pronouns were clearly listed in their bio, and they used they, them pronouns.
I'm gonna say something a little unwoke, but I don't think that Trisha Paytas was doing all that for the correct reasons.
At this point. Well, Trisha uses she, her pronouns now. That does not dismantle the fact that they use they, them pronouns at that period in their life. And it doesn't diminish what Gabbie did.
No. I gotta be honest, I think that was Trisha Paytas trying to just be in the cultural zeitgeist. I think she went non-binary for the attention. All right, I'll say it. All right. There was when we were all way too woke,
Just because somebody changes their pronouns does not mean that the transphobia back then is all right. And the thing is, Gabbie unfollowed me for it. And she unfollowed a lot of other people too that day. She went totally silent on the internet and went on an unfollowing spree. The weirdest part is, I wasn't even shocked. I knew the rules. I knew what my place was, and I still crossed the line. And the thing I think about a lot is how normal it became for other people to come after us instead of Gabbie. We were just existing in that space. A lot of us hadn't even said anything and were put on some hit list to take us down. My friends and I weren't even defending her at this point because she was going off the rails and she was doing nothing to defend herself. So why would we defend her? People would dogpile, attack, harass, and this wasn't rare either. You would think in a community expected to defend her, and in a community where Gabbie said that Hello Leash and Jessie Spiles needs to control their fan base, that she might step in.
I'm a trans Trisha truther.
For us and help us. But she didn't. Not really, at least. So you end up in this position where you're defending her constantly. You're managing how you act so you don't get cut off. And at the same time, you're completely on your own. And I remember just taking it because that's what being a fan felt like. But looking back, that's not loyalty. It's cowardice. A lot of us were doxxed for defending her. Some of us were outed to our families for defending her. People contacted my dad for defending her.
What the fuck is going on in these communities, man? This is crazy work. This is what's going on in the Trisha Paytas, fucking Jesse Smiles, Gabbie Hanna universe. That's going on. People are contacting fucking 14-year-olds' parents to be like, your child is being rude on the internet. Are you fucking for real?
They got his contact information and texted him. And again, in a fandom where we're expected to show up for her, that level of expectation was not reversed back.
Why would people dox people for criticizing Gabbie Hanna? They got nothing going on, man, you know?
Us. I'm not saying she controlled what other people did, but I am saying that environment existed because of her, and we were the ones who had to deal with the fallout. When I look back at all of this, I don't think any of it is random. It worked the way it worked because it benefited her. We were younger, more reactive, and more loyal. We were willing to jump in and attack someone we cared about without fully thinking it through. And she didn't have to defend herself publicly because we were already doing it for her. We were the ones arguing, getting harassed, and getting doxxed. Well, she got to stay just far enough removed from it. And I think something that gets overlooked in all of this is how long we stayed. And I don't mean that the way you think I mean that either. Hear me out. There were long stretches, on Patreon especially, where she just wasn't there, but kept charging people for their fucking money. Months, sometimes close to a year. And people didn't leave. We waited, which yes, is our own fault. But she should have paused subscriptions. We kept expecting her to come back and pick things up eventually. We waited because that's what a good fan looked like. She would disappear for months at a time, sometimes years, and then come back and expect the same loyalty. There's a reason her albums flopped. Like a real reason they didn't chart. And it's not because she didn't promote them, it's because she ruined the loyalty with her fan base. And now we don't want to stream them even. But that doesn't change the fact that we were expected to hold everything up. And it wasn't just about her being gone. It was about the fact that a lot of her Patreon was tied to, if you subscribe, I will do this. She made specific promises and then did not fulfill on them. Music videos, content, things that were supposed to be funded by our support.
Dude, Gabbie Hanna was sitting around collecting fat stacks while everybody was waiting for content, dude. Holy shit. Imagine being a teenager and you're like, I get $15 a month to spend on a subscription, and you spend it on Gabbie Hanna, and then she doesn't even do the slightest to fulfill her end of the bargain. Yeah, I guess I'd be annoyed if I was 15 and that happened. Well, you know, that's crazy. I bought a Star citizenship for my 16th birthday. I'm 28. The game's still not out. At least I could stare at my stupid fucking ship.
Things that just never really happened. We kept waiting and assuming it was coming eventually. We kept giving her the benefit of the fucking doubt, and I don't know why. She gave us no reason to trust her. And I get it, things happen and projects fall through, but this was not that. It kept happening and nothing was ever addressed. It became a pattern, and it wasn't just Patreon. For years there were promises of new music called This Time Next Year coming out, with specific songs on the album. She promised that things were on the way. And then when she released it, they were shitty little voice note versions. It was not good. I swear on my life, there were certain fans sending her $50 filming, like, music video shoot locations that she could film at, and she was just like, no, I don't think I'm going to. And then she filmed in her bedroom on her iPhone with no support, with shitty little dances that she put no effort into choreography. Like, we hated them. All that aside, people stayed. People kept believing things were coming. By this point, waiting had kind of become normal. I think the hardest thing to admit is that we were all doing this in her name. A lot of it was framed as defending her or correcting misinformation. But in practice, it often turned into going after other creators, dogpiling, arguing, pushing back in ways that didn't always feel reasonable. And
This girl is describing like a cult of a fandom, dude. Could you imagine if this is how like an adult talks about their time in the amazing Digital Circus fandom as a middle schooler? Because that's what I feel like it'll be one day, you know.
The thing is, it didn't even feel wrong at the time. That behavior wasn't shut down, and if anything, it was reinforced by Gabbie and the fandom itself. When people went hard for her, they got attention from anti-Gabbie Hanna fans. But we also got validation from peers, recognition from Gabbie herself. So it starts to feel like something you're supposed to do. And there's another thing that's really hard for me to sit with, because there was this narrative for a long time that she had genuinely changed. Like, we believed that Gabbie from 2015 and Gabbie from 2020 were so far removed. She was such a better person. She had changed so much. And then I look at Gabbie in 2026 and I'm like, well, someone doesn't regress that much in 6 years. That means she never actually changed. There were conversations behind the scenes, like the 3-hour phone call that explained everything. We thought she validated herself. We really genuinely did. Namely, because most of us—
Gabbie is like, I gotta fight the haters. Let me gather an army of middle schoolers. And these kids are sweating it out. They're supposed to be studying for their social studies test, and instead they're on Twitter arguing with like some guy about Gabbie Hanna misgendering Trisha Paytas.
didn't have 3 hours to digest that shit. So we skimmed through, and we found all the parts that fans talked about, and we telephoned it. The thing I hate the most, we did. As fans, we took that seriously. We trusted that there was context we didn't know. I mean, Jesse's friends were literally in my personal DMs calling that phone call napalm at least 1.5 years before it was released. Meaning, yes, it was premeditated. But in hindsight, is that a bad thing? In the moment, we were like, if it's premeditated, how truthful can Jesse be? Really? Really? Like, I look back on my own thought process and I'm like, oh, I was so brainwashed. This is a cult. But the way I was thinking about it is...
Gabbie, oh my god. This is sounding a lot like something else.
Why would I receive information about this? I believed it was things that had been resolved that I'm not privy to. But the more I think about it, the more I question it, as I should. After Gabbie's Patreon group leak, I can't look at that phone call the same way anymore. I can't. It's forever changed. We didn't hear that conversation for years, but Gabbie knew it existed. We didn't see what was said, we were just told what happened. But the behavior that she was showing after the fact didn't really reflect that she had changed. I can say that the way that Gabbie presented the phone call made it easier for us to ignore what was right in front of us. It gave us reason to keep believing. It's a lot easier to defend somebody when you think the worst is already behind them. The thing that stayed with me the most was what wasn't addressed. There were things, especially during her Manic episode, where she said things that were genuinely harmful, offensive, and racist. Towards Black people, towards Native Americans, and towards all the trans people. Like, it was just so fucked up. Non-binary people, trans people, people with DID. I could keep going! There were so many people she attacked during her Manic episode, and then never addressed it. She said she would address it, and then never did. What I kept looking for...
You know, what's the over under on you having like a mental health episode? How fucked up can you really be before people start going, maybe we should be bothered by this, you know? I feel like if the Manic episode or like the mental health episode is real, you know, then maybe you're like, okay. But then I don't know, man. I don't know. What's the over under on that? I feel like it's like one of those where like I'll take them as they come, you know? I'll take it as they come. Like there's a threshold. There's an imaginary threshold that needs to be passed.
It was a direct, clear acknowledgement of what happened, not a vague explanation. I wanted actual accountability for what was said. Mental health may be able to explain behavior, it does not erase the impact that she had. I remember waiting for that moment where it would be like, oh, she's finally taking this seriously. And it just never came. When you're in a space where you're expected to defend someone, that lack of clarity does not make things easier. It makes fans explain something that was never actually explained in the first place, and that's not a position we should be put in. We shouldn't have to put words in Gabbie's mouth. We shouldn't have to defend Gabbie from a racism accusation in 2025. This just straight up should not have left her mouth to begin with. She should have, the second she became stable, apologized for what she said, but instead she let God atone for her misdeeds. This does nothing for the public. I think that was what really broke it for me, was the trust. After everything happened, there were statements about getting help from mental health professionals.
Well, she found God, so ain't nobody more powerful than that.
As a fan, that mattered. It made it feel like things were actually being taken seriously, and this wouldn't happen again. But over time, that trust started to feel a lot less solid. Now, I can't speak for anything that did or did not happen privately. I don't have access to that, but I can talk to how I felt watching everything that happened after that. The behavior didn't really line up with what we were being told is changing. At a certain point, it stopped feeling like growth and felt like we were just supposed to believe this was happening behind the scenes. We don't see it, but it's there. And then everything changed. Like a full rebrand. Different content, different messaging, different identity. She's leaning into the trad wife Christian era and taking a much direct, critical approach to other people. And again, people are allowed to change. That's not the problem. The problem was how sudden...
Maybe the right-wing grift is coming for Gabbie Hanna. You know? Maybe that is coming. Maybe it's around the corner.
It felt, and how little was actually explained to the people who were there supporting her. If you've built an audience on one kind of relationship and then completely change into something else, it feels like being left behind without understanding why. Especially when that new version starts criticizing in ways that honestly feel familiar. It felt like the same patterns from old versions of Gabbie. And at that point,
well, now she could do it from like a veneer of Christliness. So now she could get away with it just fine, and that audience that she'll court from that gonna be more than okay with her being a little bit uncouth with those kind of things.
I think I realized I wasn't watching someone grow. I was watching someone change patterns and directions without actually ever addressing what came before it. Then there were moments that just felt disconnected from the audience entirely. Like when she started going after Adam McIntyre for living in sin. The audience she built.
There's no fucking way that Gabbie Hanna did that. That is fucking hilarious. Dude. Gabbie Hanna is gonna be another. We got another one, guys. We got another one. Many such cases.
The people that were there to support her throughout all of this are majority gay men, lesbians, and trans people. So seeing the messaging aimed at someone like that did not feel out of place. It felt like all of the people who had been there this entire time weren't being considered at all. I remember watching and thinking, who is this actually?
So she ended up doing that. How do you not know about Charles Bukowski? To be clear, they don't talk about writers like that anymore, you know. They don't. Like, they just don't. Like, if I go looking for... Okay, to be clear, I have been looking... Like, I'm reading a lot of stuff that is like... I'm looking at it, I'm like, hey, this is probably for girls, right? And I'm reading it, and I'm enjoying it. But then I'm going, where are, like, the things for dudes? And then I go looking, and they're like, you should read Ulysses. You should read Ulysses. What are you fucking talking about? One of the hardest to read books on the planet? Okay. You should read Blood Meridian as your first book. Okay, look, man, I don't want to read my first book, and it's like an incredibly dense, complicated critique of, like, I've got to, like, let's get a little smaller here, okay? Something I could finish in a day, all right? Read War and Peace. So, like, books for dudes are, like, either that, oh yeah, read Dune, you know, or like sci-fi or gritty fantasy, and that's it. But if you want to read like fiction, just straight up fiction, it's like there's nothing. There's rarely anything, you know, or it's by like some fucking moron. And it's like, okay, well, if you're a dude, Fight Club. And I'm like, okay, I read Fight Club. Fight Club's great, by the way. But it's like those, they don't talk about that anymore in like reading Gauged at Men. Like, it's never a suggestion. Not even John Steinbeck is a suggestion anymore, you know? But this is like, outside of Chuck Palahniuk, this is probably like the most contemporary writer I've found that's not doing something that's like sci-fi or fantasy. And don't get me wrong, I like those things. But like, you know, I'm like, you know, let's get something that is like more relatable. At least I can like kind of relate to the narrator of Fight Club, you know? I can kind of relate to that. I can relate to this guy's loneliness, right? What about American Psycho? The thing is that a lot of men read American Psycho. If they do read American Psycho, most of them just watch the movie. They don't really understand American Psycho. Read an unofficial guide to Minecraft. But it really is like actual people with like a brain, like actual thinkers, like actual writers, not like those guys that are like, I'm making fantasy for dudes because fantasy is woke now, right? I mean like actual writers with something to say that are writing contemporary fiction for men are just not there. And it's very difficult to find stuff like that. American Psycho, I haven't read the book, but I am familiar with more of the themes that are covered in the book. It's on the list, but there's a lot of books to read. Men can't read. They need to eat raw liver and jack off. No, they need to eat raw liver and then join the Semen Retention Society and hang out with their friends after wearing the Piss F slur jacket. And being introduced to racist seminal magic science. I'm Disco Elysium posting again, guys. I'm Disco Elysium posting. That's if you take the fascist path and you become really good friends with Measurehead, and he tells you about all of his bullshit, you know. He has erectile dysfunction, by the way, just in case you guys didn't know.
Bored. Who watches this? Because it wasn't just a change in content, it was a shift in values entirely. No matter how horrible of a person Gabbie was in 2018, she was socially aware. She supported trans and gay people and supported Black Lives Matter.
Well, she's hedging her bets now, right? Because she supported those things because it was trendy and would make her money. So she's actually like completely amoral and a corrupt actor who is just moving to where she thinks she can get bread. I would say though, I do think that woke is coming back, and I think she's like a little bit far behind on that.
She did the bare minimum. She was amongst the people who were
Yeah,
on
the most important part is reading comprehension. Those men don't do that.
right side. Now look at her. On the right side. Like, hello. That's the part that says the most about how it ended. The downfall actually started in 2021. There wasn't some huge fallout in the fandom where people made massive cancellation posts. People just slowly started to leave in waves. At a certain point, it wasn't even anger anymore. It was disappointment. I felt it and I saw it in other people too. Because when you support someone, defend them, and watch and expect them to grow, and then nothing changes, you just stop showing up. The hardest part about this is realizing how long I stayed. How many times something didn't sit right with me and I still found a way to explain it. How many times I chose to defend someone instead of listening to my own instincts. I wasn't just watching it, I was a part of it. I helped defend her. I participated in a space that, looking back, wasn't healthy for me.
This is a lot of introspection coming from somebody who's literally 18, so that's actually really impressive. I think that's gotta be commended, like, on God.
Or the people around me. I lost 70 pounds and developed a stress ulcer from the emotional turmoil of all of this. I have CPTSD response to being doxxed and harassed by literal YouTubers. Why was Cody Rance making videos about me when I was the one getting doxxed?
Isn't Cody Rance fucking bananas batshit? Isn't that person? I remember Xylee yelling at this person, right? This Cody Rance person is like a real piece of work. They're like one of the big T heads, right? Cody Rance fucking going after a child is fucking comedy work, dude.
Harassed. Cody Rance, they're children. And I don't think that makes me a bad person. I just think I have to be honest about it now. I have to be honest about what it felt like, what we normalized, and what we ignored. So, I'm not a fan anymore. I can't support her homophobia, or transphobia, or racism, or I could keep going. It wasn't one moment or one thing she said or did. It was everything stacking over time. I realized I felt more anxious than I did excited. I was looking at how to defend her instead of actually enjoying her content. It was seeing how we were expected to protect her, but nobody protected us. It was the favoritism, the hierarchy, the way attention became something you had to earn by being the right type of fan. The times that things were framed in ways that made us react a certain way, and we did.
I can't believe like this person is like, I had trauma because Cody Rance. Fucking Cody Rance. They must have quite the history. I'm sure there's something there. I'm very certain there is.
The times where real issues were involved, and we were still expected to defend first and think later. Liking someone shouldn't be like this. Being part of a community shouldn't look like calculating what you can and cannot say.
That's not surprising to me, I think, about a community policing like that. Because I think every community does. And if you want to exist in an internet community, you have to abide by their like social norms. Right. But the issue with like a YouTuber community like that is like the social norm above all else is that the YouTuber is infallible. And that sounds pretty fucking awful to be in a community like that, where you can't ever have like your own thought or opinion like that. And especially if you're like a younger person where you're trying to figure stuff out and your friends are all in that community, it's going to be really rough to leave because you have no third space and no physical space to hang out with people. So you're online, you know? So I could understand why that's really rough and really difficult, especially for a young audience, or why they might feel conflicted or have a lot of personal baggage about defending somebody who's kind of shitty because they were running the math in their head and they were thinking, well, if I stop defending this shitty person, then I lose everybody that is my friend. But the reality is those people probably shouldn't have been your friends to begin with, and that you got to be a little bit more choosy. And that's something you go forward in life as an adult knowing. We have that rule in the piedom, but it works because I am infallible. Being a kid and having a random YouTuber include you in their beef seems like a valid reason to be a little traumatized. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It also sounds like if people left that community, they would be attacked for betraying them, which makes it extra hard. Yeah, so it probably makes it really scary.
And more importantly, it was realizing that some of the things she's doing recently just don't align with me anymore. So I left because I finally stopped ignoring all of it.
Like I understand. I can already hear like the usual type of response being like, just fucking turn off the computer, go outside. But like, it doesn't really work that way, you know, and I understand I understand why somebody young could have baggage about that. Absolutely. I think it's completely valid.
Energy, defending her, being part of that space. When you've put that much into it.
You know, I was a Kendall Roy stan on Twitter for years and this shit makes me feel like a Desert Storm vet talking to a fucked up Vietnam vet.
Kendall Roy from the show Succession. What? Is there a lot of beef like that in the Succession fandom?
It's really hard to walk away, even when it doesn't feel right. Even when you start noticing patterns. Leaving doesn't mean just stop being a fan. It also means admitting how long you stayed when you shouldn't have. It happens slowly in pieces, because letting go of something like that takes time. Now, there's not a single original supporter who stands by Gabbie. I think they're all gone. All of my friends, all of the fandom, they're gone. They're gone. There are no fans on Twitter of Gabbie Hanna. I was the last one. Things change, and so did we. It's much bigger than all of that. That's all I really wanted to say. Not to start anything or to drag anyone. Just to be honest about why I'm not here anymore. If you're still in the fandom, I'm not telling you what to do. But I am saying, if something feels off, listen to it. If you've also gone through something like this publicly, you don't have to share it. But if you want to, you can. Just be honest.
Gosh. Oh, sounds like Gabbie had quite the community, man. God damn. I would still defend Kendall Roy with my life. Be careful. I get it. I get it. Yeah, I hope this girl has a long, healthy life and heals from this. On God. 100% agree. 100% avow that statement. For real. Oh, shit, dude. Fuck. Well, let me get offline and so I could fucking help with fucking editing stuff. All right. I'll have more slop content out this week. That's not a stream, so that way you guys don't forget about me. So I'll keep doing that. But I gotta skedaddle or I will fuck up my sleep again. So I fucked it up really bad.